Coming up on Unpacked.
I had just gotten the bursary and I was excited, and then I found out that I was pregnant. While I was walking, this gentleman asked me if I don't need a ride, where am I going? He pulled out a gun, got me to the back seat of the car, and he had his way with me. I literally felt like I'm no longer a woman.
Raped while pregnant. Today's guest is here to share her horrific story. Let's unpack. In 2015, Kholofelo Mokgwatsane was just another second-year student who had used her day off from college to go to Johannesburg CBD to run errands and get her hair done. 7 months pregnant at the time, a stranger would take advantage of her vulnerability. What transpired shifted her plans for the day and changed her life forever. This is part 1 of her story. Let's unpack. Kholofelo, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So take me back to finding out you were pregnant and what the circumstances were around your pregnancy.
Okay, so I was still in school. I was still studying media practices at the time. It was my second year. I had just gotten the bursary and I was excited, and then I found out that I was pregnant. And, well, you know, abortion is not an option for me. I went through with it. It was, at the time, I was literally in my, third month dating this guy. And it was a bit tricky, especially because I already had a child before that. And my parents are pastors, both of them. So it was a very tricky situation. I had to continue with school, otherwise I'd forfeit the bursary. 7 months later, the incident happened.
But up until that point, your pregnancy was something that you were mentally all in on. There were no, anything hectically standing out in terms of challenges with the pregnancy or anything like that?
In the beginning, no.
In
the beginning, it was smooth sailing, healthy pregnancy. It was just that the baby was big, and as you can see, I'm a very tiny person. So that was the only thing. The baby was very big, but I didn't have any complications before the incident. Although I was a bit taken aback when I found out that I was pregnant. I still was, just joyful again to bring a life into this earth again, So it was back and forth with my boyfriend at the time because we hadn't really established such a solid, relationship. It wasn't that deep yet. So I think that was one of the challenges there. But otherwise, as soon as I told my mom, yes, she was disappointed. But then she was just like, you know what, we'll see what you do. Just carry on with school. And we'll see how we can carry on with it. It wasn't a problematic pregnancy at all.
So now, talk us through that fateful day.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, classes were cancelled that day. I was at school, actually. And I had plans to go and do my hair. I wanted to start the lock. I wanted to go do my hair immediately after school. So luckily, I don't know if it's luckily enough or, fate. I don't know how, but they cancelled classes and I left. So I left so the campus is in Sandton, right? I left from Sandton and I went to Joburg town. So, I mean, I'm big. I'm popping, I'm wearing this maxi dress and you could see that I'm pregnant. There's no way, So it was very sunny. I remember that it was very hot on that day. I was walking from the taxi rank from Bree, going up to. So while I was walking, this car, stood up in front, just at the robots. This car stood up in front of me, and this gentleman, looked like a gentleman, asked me if I don't need a ride, where am I going? And I told him, I'm just looking for a salon down in MTN, at MTN Taxi Rank. And then he's like, can I accompany you? And I looked at him, and he looked decent, really. No red flags.
Yes, yes.
I stepped into the
Were,
car.
were you familiar with the area, that area at the time?
I really, really don't go into town that
Yes,
much,
yes.
I don't go into town that much. Actually, yeah, never.
So it was literally, you were, it's not like you were looking for a specific salon. You were like, I'm going to find a salon.
Yes.
Okay.
I kept on scouting, looking at, pictures
Yes.
and yeah. But someone had referred me to some place.
Yes.
She didn't know where exactly it was in town. She just told me that they do good dreads,
Yes.
And I was looking for that place, and yeah. So I stepped into the car, and this guy, just told me that he owns a salon. I don't know why that didn't strike me as how coincidental.
Yes.
It would have been, but I just went with it. And he told me, they do good hair, they know their craft, and so I was like, okay, well, wouldn't hurt to go check it out.
Yeah.
And so we drove out, a little out of Joburg, Faraday. Yeah, I actually didn't know the place until today. I had to call my second mom to find out what the name of the place was. We went a bit out of Joburg. And really, I wasn't familiar with Joburg. I moved to Joburg in 2013.
Yeah.
To come work. My mother stays Komafikeng. And so, like I said, I'm not familiar with the town. My aunt stayed in Sandton. I stayed there. Whatever I needed was there. I wouldn't move around much, apart from school and back. So, may I?
Yes. It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
Okay. So,
So, basically, you're walking. A man says, hey, where are you going? Let me help you out. You say, I'm looking for a salon. Actually, I own a salon. Come, I'll take you through. He looks friendly and decent enough. And you're like, great, get in the car. At this point, you're sitting, I'm assuming, in the front seat with him. And it's just the two of you in the vehicle.
Yes.
Did he say to you where the salon was, or he said, oh, it's close by?
He just said it's close by.
Yes.
Also because I'm not familiar with the place,
Yes.
I was just like, oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Again, it won't hurt. And anyway, I can Uber back.
Yes. Yes.
If it's close by. We went to Faraday.
Which is, just for those that are not familiar with Joburg CBD.
Yeah.
How far in minutes would you say that was from where you were, which is the main taxi rank there?
Probably 5-7 minutes out. Yeah, I think around 7 minutes out because it was real quick.
Yes, yes.
And when we got to, so that area, it's a residential place.
Yes.
But there's not much movement, there's not much traffic there.
Yes.
People walking in the streets. You'd find like one or two people in the streets, it's very
quiet and isolated.
Yeah.
And in this time, as in while the ride is happening, is there any bell going off in your head, or you completely comfortable?
Absolutely not. And I think that's what got to me. How could I
not have read alarm bells?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Was he talking to you on the ride, or what was happening?
Very friendly guy. We were talking about, so he was asking me where I'm from and, what I'm doing on this side of town, pregnant and all of that.
So he even noted you being pregnant.
Yes, he knew that very well. We were talking about school. I actually had a funny story. I had just withdrawn about 2,000 Rand to do my hair and to get a couple of clothing items because I was popping out of my clothes, you know? And I had just got new books from school because prior I had missed a couple of days from school. Well, pregnancy, I was just fatigued,
Yes.
you know? And I had spoken to the dean to just ask for a couple of days. And so I had to go get new books. In my handbag, I had these new books, I had this money, and, you know, my phone. So we drove to Faraday. When we got there, he parked at some dilapidated building, you know, still in the residential area. But it was a very dodgy looking place. And when, you know, as soon as I could even ask, he pulled out a gun. And literally, I just sort of froze. I froze. And he said I should go to the back seat. And as I'm getting out of the car, I'm stepping out of the car, I'm trying to look for someone to at least see what's going on. And then he pretended that he was fixing, you know, he opened the bonnet of the car. I don't know, to not get anyone alerted or, you know, I don't know what his thought process was, but I was just like, I was frozen. I did exactly what he told me to do. And he got me to the back seat of the car and he had his way with me. What I remember is I blacked out. Excuse me.
It's okay. And it's important for many who don't understand that sometimes blackouts are there to protect you. You know, that it's so traumatic that it's easier for you to not remember than to have this sitting in your immediate memory to keep reliving it. For viewers that might not understand, why do people say I black out? That sometimes that's what happens. So when did you come to? What was the next thing that you remember happening? Because he's shoved you into the back seat basically forcefully at gunpoint.
Yeah.
He's lifted the bonnet of the car, which I'm assuming was probably to block the view of anybody being able to see from the windscreen. What was the first thing you remember after that?
I remember literally waking up on the side of the road. I don't remember how I got there, if he pushed me out, if he told me to leave. I don't remember a thing. I just remember waking up on the side of the road. My handbag is gone. I don't have a phone. I don't even know where I am.
You don't have money?
I don't have money to get anywhere. I had to ask. I couldn't even talk, you know? I remember walking aimlessly. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know who I'm gonna ask. And as soon as I even tried to, you know, talk to someone and ask, where's this place? I just broke down. So I got to, I think it's like a guest house. And as soon as I got there, you know, I was literally just crying. And this lady I asked for a phone. This lady gave me her phone and I couldn't remember anybody's number but my aunt's help. She's like my second mother. You know, she's known me from birth, basically. I don't know why it was her number that I remembered, but she was the first person I could call, and as soon as she picked up, I cried and I couldn't say anything. And then the lady that was with me took the phone and then she explained, listen, this lady just came in and she's crying hysterically and I don't know what happened because I tried asking her if she got mugged, what is the situation? And she can't talk. So then Rose, I actually told her that I'm gonna do this today. Rose said, she asked her where we are and basically just hung up and she came through. She didn't even, when she got there, okay, so I waited probably like 45 minutes.
And in those 45 minutes while you're waiting for her to come through, you are with the lady of the guest house and she's taking care of you?
Yes, she offered me water, sugar water, and basically was just trying to calm me down. She asked the first time what happened. Did you get mugged? And I couldn't utter a word. And then she stopped asking, and then she was just, rubbing my back and trying to get me to, breathe. So where I was sitting was a couch. I even laid my head, and yeah. By the time I knew it, I think it was around 5 in the evening at the time when she arrived, when Rose arrived. She got there and she just came and, hugged me. And then I broke down again. But for me, at the time, that was like a sort of, I felt safe. Excuse me.
So then, what happened after that?
Okay, so she had a ride. She got a ride from, I don't know this man. She sat with me at the back of the car and he dropped us off at the taxi rank. And the entire time, tears were just rolling down my face.
What state were you in physically at that time, in the sense that, were you bleeding? Were your clothes torn?
My clothes were messy and dirty, I remember that. But they weren't torn. Yeah, it was a maxi dress. I was wearing a maxi dress with a sort of denim shirt top. I actually kept it for some reason. So we got into the taxi and we got home. By the time we got home, it was already dark. And when we got there, Rose explained. So I had to sit down and, she got me water and, ran me a bath. And then they said she shouldn't do that because the evidence.
So when had you, because I think we've missed the part where you've actually
told her.
Verbalized what had happened to you.
It was on our way home. She didn't ask me. I just told her that I had been raped. And she, I could see it in her face that she sort of didn't know what to say. It's like she wanted to sort of comfort me, but you could see that she's dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And that's all I said, that I'd been raped and they took my stuff. And then she kept on saying that it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And then so when she ran me the bathwater, my cousin was there. My cousin told her not to because they still have to come and test me and they have to get, excuse me, they have to, whatever they have to do.
I'm so glad you're mentioning this because, looking at the statistics, how we have rape accusations, how we have unreported cases. And so many people think, why didn't you just go do this? In reality, the most natural thing after being violated in that way is that when the people around you as well are trying to calm you down is to want to say, drink tea, let's put you in a nice hot bath. Whereas the awareness is more now to say, let's get the evidence collected, which is go and get help as you are.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're mentioning that because some people don't understand why it's not the instinctual thing to do when the instinctual thing to want to do is to comfort a person who's been through this or to be comforted.
Exactly.
So they say to you, let's not do the bath because we need to get evidence collected. What happens next?
So while I'm sitting there, so my cousin was calling the police and Rose was calling my boyfriend. Well, he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. We had already broken up, actually.
Yes.
We'd broken up, I think I was 5 months pregnant when we broke up. And she was just alerting them what happened and that they need to come.
Yes.
They asked about the baby, is the baby okay? We don't know. We really don't know at that point. The family of my boyfriend at the time, my baby daddy, came through.
Did they come with him?
Yes, they all came, the whole family. And they, basically wanted to find out what happened, how it happened. I can't talk really at that point. So Rose is trying to explain to them what she knows and where she found me and yeah. And then they asked if we've called the police, are we going to the police station, what's happening? So the police were on their way shortly after they arrived and then they escorted us to the station. So as soon as we got to the station, they just, took a couple of notes, they opened the case, and then they said we should go to the hospital. We went to the hospital, and they took tests, they asked me a couple of questions. They gave me something to calm down. And, by the grace of God, my daughter was still fine and I hadn't contracted any sickness.
Do you know if he raped you using a condom or not?
I don't
You
know.
don't know.
But no, they did pick up semen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that there was no condom used.
Yes.
So, yeah, after that, they discharged me a couple of hours later. And then that's when they said I can, step into the tub and relax. And the police then came the morning after that. So we went home, okay? So we went home. They run me a tub and I sleep. I literally just passed out. And then the following morning, the police came through to do the sketch and to ask me, details. And I remember the one detective was very impatient with me. Because he kept on asking, obviously the right questions, but every time I would try to answer, I'd cry. And, Rose said to me, if you can't continue, you don't have to, they'll come another time. They can still come back. And this police officer kept on saying, we don't have all day, and she's not the only one we're working with, and, we're trying to help. And so Rose literally said they must leave because they were just being unnecessarily pushy. I remember after they left, I slept for like 48 hours straight. I was mentally exhausted. I was emotionally drained. My mom came in from Mafikeng as soon as she found out. And
did you tell her on the phone, or did someone else phone
so
her?
they phoned her. They phoned her. She came in the next day. And I remember one time I was about to take a bath. I'm in the bathroom and I had locked the door. I'm sitting on the floor on the other end of the door, and I just sat there, just, asking God why. I sat there for I don't even know how long, because I remember Rose and my mom knocking at the door, asking me to not do anything impulsive, just to consider the life of this child, and, it's going to pass. I'm not going to feel like this forever. And
what was that feeling that you were feeling?
I felt like my life was over. I felt like I had been, invaded, and I just felt like nowhere is safe. I don't even feel safe in the house. I remember I had nightmares for a very long time. I literally felt like I'm no longer a woman.
Next time on Unpacked.
I felt dirty. I felt like my child was contaminated. This world is just so cold and cruel. I had suicidal thoughts for a very long time.
How was the remainder of the pregnancy?
It's like she sort of like erased everything that had happened. I just remember one day being okay.
Thank you so much for watching Unpacked with Relebogile Mabotja. Make sure you subscribe to my channel where you can get to watch more episodes. But more importantly, you can be part of our online community. Comment down below, share with us who you'd like to see on the show, or what story you'd like us to discuss. We love engaging with you. Keep it coming, and don't forget to subscribe.